Forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they do. You know, hatred is a really strong word, but for the FIA and Mohammed Ben Sulayem, you know, I think I can extend mitigating circumstances, because on the back of the Austrian Grand Prix this weekend past, I feel like as an F1 fan base, we've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, misdirected, because the cheeky love kiss between Messrs Verstappen and Norris at worst was line stepping, at its very worst brinksmanship, if not hard racing. At best it was an incident of the race. So why are we getting so caught up in it then? Why has it become a diplomatic incident of global proportions? Because I think we need to take aim, view this through the lens, of course, as always, of FIA incompetence. What are we doing here? There were more heinous crimes committed at turn 3 at the Austrian Grand Prix by one Fernando Alonso, who of course lived in the margins, in the grey areas. He said on multiple occasions, not least at Sochi a couple of years ago, that he hurts himself. He doesn't forgive himself even, thinks that he was stupid for obeying the rules, because the FIA don't know how to police them consistently across the board, across related parties. You'll remember at Sochi 2021 when he cut the corner to a net gain. He practiced it, indeed explored that area of the track. So what else would you expect from Fernando Alonso, the man they call Magic in Spain, than to continue bending, if not breaking the rules? And at the Austrian Grand Prix this weekend past, his even was the most heinous crime of all. At turn 3, consistently he was an offender. He didn't even make an attempt to stay within track limits, the white lines as the FIA call it. Now what does that mean for the FIA? That means they weren't even looking. So frequent an offender was Fernando Alonso, so deliberate in his trying to exploit the rules. The likes of Johnny Herbert et al., those holding the pen at race control and FIA stewardship, they cannot have been looking. They failed to even notice it. And as far as the FIA is concerned, this isn't their first offence. They are serial offenders, are they not, as far as incompetence and being inconsistent, consistently inconsistent. Please see as your Exhibit A, Abu Dhabi 2021. Please see as your Exhibit B, this year Sergio Checo Perez full start. Exhibit C, similar sort of thing from Lando Norris, blaming it all the while on transponder error when human eyes, when the eye test would have told you, or this is a full start. If the green light hasn't gone and a car is moving, give that person a penalty. They did not, and they will not, because of course the FIA, as the regulatory body of Formula One, likes to bring the sport into disrepute. For the avoidance of doubt, Verstappen, and as far as Lando Norris is concerned, do not hate the player, hate the game. There is all this talk about Verstappen moving around in the braking zone. Well, punish that in real time then, if indeed it is an offence. If per the rules and the regs you see that Verstappen is moving in a way that's erratic, then punish that in real time. If you do not, then you cannot complain when he does that on the corresponding laps, can you? At the same turn even. Fernando Alonso is God tier as far as his racing mind and his IQ each and every single time. So you need to pay attention to what he's doing. If there is a tax avoider on the grid, then it will be Fernando Alonso. Take note of how he moves each and every single time. He will exploit, bend and break the rules given the opportunity. You've seen him. Please see 2007 at Hungary. The fabled pit stop, the now notorious behaviour that ended him up in the steward's room, courtesy of one Anthony Hamilton, father of Sir Lewis. If Fernando Alonso finds himself a way to bend or break the rules, if there is a grey area, if the FIA allow drivers to creep through the regulatory cracks, then Fernando Alonso will do it. And is that Fernando Alonso's fault for doing that? Do you blame him for Sochi 2021 gaining a net place because he just went down the runoff area? How can you? How can we? If a tree falls down in a forest and nobody sees or hears it, then did it really fall down? I say all that to say this. F1 needs to sort out itself. The FIA, the regulatory body, need to have a word with itself. If F1 harbour aspirations of continuing growing, becoming a true mainstream success, then fans all over the world, both mainstream and diehard, old greybeards like myself, we need to understand what's going on in real time. This can't be by committee. It needs to be clear and obvious, unless the FIA want to bring this sport into disrepute. We will have on our hands another Abu Dhabi 21 when it's close and the FIA do not have all of their ducks in order. We are doomed, of course, to repeat the mistakes of Christmas past. And again, I say for the avoidance of doubt that Max Verstappen and Lando Norris's crime at turn 3, lap 64 this weekend past, those were not the most heinous crimes. They were racing hard as far as possible. Now you can argue all you want about Max Verstappen, that this is Max Verstappen 1.0, that we've seen this chat before. Penalise him then if he's breaking the rules. If he's not, then of course you're going to see him repeat those behaviours. What are we doing? Fernando Alonso didn't even try to stick to track limits. And where was his penalty? Why was that behaviour not noted in the FIA race notes? Because they didn't even notice it. Such is their level of incompetence. This is ridiculous. And this on a race weekend, around a track where they knew track limits was always going to be a thing. The FIA told us that they'd made all this improvement, that the punishment for breaching track limits was going to be self-policing since they'd put gravel all around the outside. Surely then at the Austrian Grand Prix, they'd learned from the mistakes of Christmas past, because at the very same fixture last year, there were 1,200 track infringements that they had to investigate post-race. We didn't even know about the race result, for it was not crystallised. They had to go and do homework after the fact. What are we doing? Bernie Ecclestone has always said that the race result needs to be the race result. There shouldn't be any changes retrospectively, because fans will become disillusioned, will they not? They won't trust what they're seeing in real time per the metrics, will they? Ergo, we have a problem. Houston, we have a problem as far as Formula One is concerned, because we don't believe you, FIA. You are not trustworthy. You have failed for the longest time ad infinitum to police the sport in a way that's consistent, transparent, and across all related parties. Once again, the Austrian Grand Prix is proof positive of that. Another case in point, your Exhibit Z at this stage, courtesy of the heinous crimes of one Fernando Alonso. But can you even call them crimes, since they weren't caught? They weren't even observed. So did they even happen? Techio, good luck FIA sorting out your act. You need to have a word with yourself, lest you be doomed to repeat the mistakes of Christmas past and be But I digress. No further questions, Your Honour.